Good evening and welcome to NNX, NNN's new show to give you campus news faster than you can eat a bowl of mac and cheese. I'm Katrina Pham.
And I'm Julia Richardson. Tonight we'll be taking a closer look into the library workers' efforts to unionize,
The reopening of Northwestern University's Black House after 2 years of renovations.
and in a new digital age, athletes taking control over their social media presence.
So grab your mac and cheese and let's jump into tonight's stories. For our first story of the night, last week, Northwestern University library workers announced their plans to unionize. Unionization plans began early in the pandemic when 1 in 5 library workers were furloughed and retirement benefits were cut off. Library workers marched from University Library to Provost Kathleen Haggerty's office, delivering their list of demands. While they haven't heard back from the university, some library workers say they're prepared for a fight.
Being out of work for 3 months was really stressful, and it just all really happened so fast, and I felt like it happened with a lack of respect and care for the work that we were doing.
NNN's Logan Schijano, who spoke with the library workers earlier this week, joins us now. Logan, what were some of the priorities for the union moving forward?
Well, Katrina, first and foremost, the library workers want transparency. Right now they have a 0% stake in negotiations. They want to level that off. They want 50% of the share at the table with the university. Next up, there's quite a few priorities here that they want addressed. First is a cost of living raise. Right now their raises are based on merit, how long they've worked at the university. They want that changed. Up next, professional development. Right now, if a library worker enters as an entry-level librarian, it's very hard for them to work up the ranks. So they want more training to make that easier to move up. Next, addressing understaffing. When library workers were furloughed, a lot of the librarians who stayed on had to take on a greater workload. Some say now that they're working twice as much as they were before. And finally, they want a plan for future crises. They were obviously very upset with how the university dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic with respect to furloughing and cutting retirement benefits. So they want to know that if this happens, it's unlikely, but if something like this were to happen in the future, they want to have it dealt with better.
Yeah, and it sounds like the workers were pretty frustrated, but you happened to spend a lot of time with them this week. What was that interaction like?
Yeah, so you're right. Obviously, they're frustrated. They have a lot of things that they want changed, but the library workers really do care about what they do at the university. They want to help people out, and they're really passionate about their jobs. Take a look at what library assistant Jill Wasey told me in our interview.
I really love my job. I really like working here, and that's why this is important to me. It's important to me to try and make our workplace better, and that's why we're willing to do what it takes to accomplish this win.
Thank you so much, Logan. To learn more about the Library Workers Union, you can visit at NUL_workers_union on Instagram or NUL Workers Union on Twitter.
In other campus news, the Black House rededication last week welcomed students, alumni, and faculty for the house's reopening. Over 200 members of the Black community gathering last Friday to celebrate, including some of the B100, the group of students who took over the bursar's office in 1968 with a list of demands to improve the Black experience on campus, leading to the creation of the Black House. The goal of the Black House, a place on campus for Black students to call their own.
A lot of students have been studying, hanging out, getting to know one another, and it's starting to feel much more warm because students are here and it's starting to feel like home.
Julia, you attended the Black House reopening. Why was this moment so important for alums?
So a lot of them, this was really full circle because they have a lot of memories in the Black House, studying, hanging out with their friends, made some of the best relationships in the Black House, so it was just nice, especially for the B100 because they kind of helped the Black House happen and we wouldn't be here without them.
And what kind of activities are going on in the house and what are students doing there?
So I've been told that programming is still in the works, but right now it serves as a hangout spot for Black students. They can go chat with their friends, study, and some orgs like FMO are starting to host meetings there, so that's really exciting.
And the work to make campus a better place for black students is not finished, but do you know what else is going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, so I did talk to Shonda McPherson. She's from the Office of Equity, and she told me they're working on an anti-racism training for university leaders and also working with other professionals on digital models for anti-racism and anti-oppression training.
College athletes are now able to profit off their own name, image, and likeness, or NIL, following a decision by the NCAA. And now Northwestern athletes are getting in on the action. NNN's Andrew Rowan has the story.
Northwestern student athletes are adding another title, entrepreneurs.
It's crazy.
Since July 1st, NCAA athletes have been allowed to profit off their name, image, and likeness.
For me, it was overwhelming just like how many people wanted to reach out to athletes.
And some here at Northwestern are getting in on the action, like junior student and softball team member Sydney Supley, who became an ambassador for a gym in Wisconsin.
You really can't prepare until you're kind of like thrown into doing business deals for the first time. Companies started reaching out and you're trying to figure out, can I respond? How does this work?
To clear some of that confusion, some NU students are partnering with athletes.
We wanted to step in and help them out just because we had that background in content creation.
Medill juniors Harrison Larner and Matthew Coronado shifted their company, 8 in the Box Productions, from sports analysis videos on YouTube to content production for student athletes. They say the new policy's reception has been mixed at Northwestern.
There are some athletes who are really trying to take advantage of it, and there are some athletes who are saying, I'm so busy, like it would be absolutely awesome to be able to do stuff, but like that's just another thing in my life that I can't possibly have. Like I want to focus on my sport at school.
The key to getting a deal? Social media. One football player partnering with a car dealership, another with a pizza shop. One softball player joining Cameo.
Happy birthday.
And more than a dozen athletes partnering with Barstool Sports.
Really any athlete, if they want to put the effort in and have the time, they can make $1,000 in a quarter.
Athletes playing on the green and making some too.
The 8 in the Box team says NIL may have an impact at Northwestern beyond current students. High school athletes going through the recruitment process will be looking for schools that have resources to support them in managing their personal brand.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NNX.
Come back next week for more campus news on your schedule.
And stick around for Northwestern News Report and Politicat coming up next.
I'm Katrina Pham.
And I'm Julia Richardson. Good night.